Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for the week of May 25th, 2025. I'm delighted to invite you to join me in Park City, Utah from October 15th through 19th at the OPA Cosmic Shift Retreat. OPA is the Organization of Professional Astrology, and I am going to be giving a 3-day intensive about predictive astrology. This class is for people who already understand the basics of how to read a natal chart and want to learn how to forecast the future with techniques such as transits, solar arcs, progressions, and more. Check out the show notes or go to opaastrology.org to register for my training. I have a maximum of 8 students, so if you're interested, sign up as soon as possible. Early bird registration pricing has been extended from the end of May until June 10th. I would love to have you join me. We went there last year and we had an absolutely amazing time. It's such a beautiful property. Just wonderful people joined us, and I know we're going to have a fabulous time again. The Birthdate Company makes amazing products, and I am a proud affiliate. I especially love the Birthdate book. It's a fully personalized, beautiful, and unique reading of your birth chart with over 70 pages of detailed horoscope analysis. It is such high quality. I absolutely love it. They also make amazing birth date candles. You can get it for yourself or as a gift for someone else. So check out the store and use my coupon code Celeste10 for a 10% discount. Go to bit.ly/3PW3NFM. You can find that in the link in the show notes. Enjoy. The theme of this week is the Parallax view, and there are 3 big things I want you to think about as you navigate this week. Yesterday, Saturn entered the sign of Aries, and now it is moving within a degree of Neptune, and they are going to be moving together for months and months until they come together at 0 degrees of Aries on February 20th, 2026. Saturn and Neptune come together every 36 years and begin a new cycle that's a blending of structure and dissolution, reality and dreams, boundaries and ideals. So their planets fuse their energy. The last time they met was in Capricorn in 1989, and it was the fall of the Berlin Wall, the collapse of the USSR, where a Capricornian government, the structure of it dissolved. And I remember feeling like I was still just a kid, but feeling like it just felt like it happened overnight. The world is changing very quickly. We can already feel these massive changes coming in that were promised by Neptune, Saturn, and soon Uranus and Jupiter will all change signs. So we're 2 down, 2 more to go. And Don't know what happened over the last couple of days. I'm recording this really early. It's May 13th because I'm going to the NORWAC conference. So I'm flying blind about what's been happening the last couple of weeks. But Saturn entered Aries yesterday. So there was some big news. It could have been just a leader left the scene, or it could have been something, and I think it was something about massive amounts of people underwent some kind of change. I hope it was positive, but it also, Saturn's not easy. Saturn transits are hard. They're hard work. And we are going to be seeing collective themes of dissolutions of institutions of authority. Systems tied to militarism, policing, patriarchal control may collapse under the weight of massive reforms. This is something why I'm so excited. Like, I keep hoping a symbol will be the women of Iran taking back their autonomy and their ability to make decisions for themselves and to get out from under this theocratic control. And what will happen is people are losing faith in traditional leadership, and there's a rise of decentralized leadership. And we're seeing this in the United States as the current administration is pulling down the U.S. government. First, they fired hundreds of thousands of people. Now, I don't even know what's happened with the planes in the last couple of weeks, but Newark Airport is on the brink of having a serious problem there. Their systems keep going down a minute, and air traffic controllers can't communicate with planes. We are especially having a lot of problems with aviation as Pluto moves through Aquarius, the sign that rules aviation, bringing up to our conscious attention all of this essentially decay of our airline system, our aviation systems, because of lack of investment. We'll also see the birth of new ideologies, and there will be more and more mythic heroes rising who are uniting people and their dreams and ideals in order to fight the power and have a revolution about things. Spiritual warfare and ethical battles are a big theme. Religion or belief systems can be weaponized under this energy. Or spiritual principles can challenge injustice. We had the Episcopal Church say they were not going to help the United States government resettle only white Afrikaners that they now will accept as refugees as the country kicks out people of color, even those that have helped us in wars and other activities around the world. Big stories about survival. Saturn and Neptune in Aries. I think this is going to be a lack. Saturn rules lack of water, Neptune, or conflict and even war over water, with Aries coming in. And I think we're going to have a lot of extremely oppressive heat this summer. And one of my biggest concerns going forward is how the weather is changing due to the climate crisis. And more refugees are being created because areas of the world become uninhabitable due to the climate crisis, due to natural disasters and things like that. And they're in survival mode, people, and they're trying to move out to other places. And it's just an incredible crisis. But new worlds are going to be sprouting. And artists are going to create such amazing works in film, music, and movies. Visionaries are going to rise, and we're going to hear impassioned speeches. We're going to be reading incredible books. And activists are going to step into leadership roles with plans to rebuild the future from whatever ruins were left after certain structures came down. Now, this could be as simple as something in your local neighborhood closes and people in the community start coming together, led by someone who people can align behind, and maybe starting new rec centers or things. Like, as the government takes money away that it had previously invested in communities, the local people will come up with new ways to get their needs met that maybe are more efficient, more inventive, and actually work much better than what was done in the past. So there's something very exciting about this new energy, even though it's destabilizing to have so much change at once. On the individual level, you may be finding that your identity of who you thought you were, what your place in this world was, is changing or restructuring. And there's some ego death going on, where letting go of what you thought you were and understanding who you are now is the best way to move forward, and letting go of and stripping off illusions and being more authentic, having spiritual courage, being more disciplined, enforcing personal boundaries. A lot of people are going to be facing burnout from overworking to try to make ends meet, or facing escapist tendencies and figuring out how to protect their energy and setting more healthier boundaries for self-care. So we're in a new world and new energy, and things are going to be moving fast, but can you think about what dreams you're willing to fight for? What's your vision? Where do you need to build structure around it? What illusions about yourself or the world are you ready to release? And I offer cosmic success coaching packages. Maybe if you're just confused, you want to make some kind of big moves, but not sure exactly what's aligned with where you are on your journey right now, maybe come for a 3-session package for clarity and activation. And this can be a jump start into self-awareness and aligned action. Maybe you want to do a career pivot or improve your relationship, deal with an upcoming transit, understand your past better and how you got to where you are. I also have 6-session packages where we can dive deeper into a plan for your future and manifestation support, whether you want to work on shadow work, boundary setting, being more visible. This is great to have an accountability partner, and that would be me. I also have 12-section packages where if you really want to make some kind of transformation and work together on business planning, personal healing work, or just a mentorship style support, I can help you. It can be more than astrology. It can be soul alchemy. So packages can be better than just coming for a one-on-one reading because they offer accountability, integration, and consistent insight can really help you make some big shifts as you're moving through this huge time of change. And I can help you co-create a journey that's both personal, strategic, and sacred. The next thing I want to make you aware of is that Mercury will enter the sign of Gemini from May 25th to June 8th. This is fantastic because Mercury is in its home sign where it can do what it does with ease, which is communicate and think in an orderly fashion and engage in witty repartee, use language in a way that you make your words almost like dance with music. You can have a lot of panache. Now, Mercury is the trickster. And this is a really interesting transit because the first thing Mercury is going to do when it moves into the sign of Gemini, and Mercury is the planet of communication and thought processes, it will have a sextile with structured Saturn. And then a sextile with visionary Neptune. So creative, thinking in a creative way to build new structures, and then it will trine Pluto, and you can have such amazing insights for transformation. This is going to give us a blend, potentially, of clarity and responsibility and insight that can help with personal breakthroughs, and we may see some big collective shifts. Some countries may be responding to some of the actions of the United States and making moves, announcing new objectives that could be taking some people aback. But change is happening. I wrote down, I think, more and more of the Trumps. The people who are the true believers, the MAGAs, are going to be talking more and more about how they're a bit disappointed in their leader because of how it's impacted them financially as they see him raking in tons of money. People who have lost their jobs or their businesses are suffering. I think there'll be big news stories about deception and corruption. Who knows, there could be some new technology platform or communication platform or app announced that has the power to change the way people network and connect. There could be serious news about infrastructure, about what's going on with these power outages. But Mercury and Gemini, things are going to move fast and quick. If you've been struggling as Mercury was in Taurus to get something done, once it's in Gemini, you may get the answer. The last thing I want to make you aware of is that we have a new moon in Gemini at 6 degrees on Monday. Now, the moon is out of bounds, and what that means is it's past the declination of the sun, which has a calming influence. So people may be extra restless, excitable, curious, communicative. The new moon is conjunct the asteroid Icarus, and Icarus was the son of a famous inventor. And they were escaping a prison, and his father told him to not fly too close to the sun because the contraption he made of wings that he put together was held together with beeswax. And so Icarus does not listen, flew too close to the sun, the beeswax melted, and he plunged into the ocean into his death. Back in the new moon in Aquarius was conjunct Icarus, and we had that horrible plane accident where military helicopter flew into a passenger airplane. So I'm wondering if there will be a story that breaks this week about what happened back then, because Icarus is activated at another new moon again. Now, Mercury, which rules the moon in Gemini, is conjunct Hygeia, which is an asteroid of public health. So there may be big news about public health somewhere. There is great energy for a serious conversation where you can come up with creative solutions, take a disciplined approach, and have transformation. I think this can be a great new moon for some people. The tarot card is the Eight of Swords, which is a card about feeling trapped or restricted by circumstances, but often the prison is mental. And on the card, it's like a woman is bound at the wrists, but there's scars and she can just lift her hands up and they'll fall away. So think about how you're in self-imposed prisons and what you can do to get yourself out of circumstances that you're no longer comfortable with. Come up with some strategic actions, a step-by-step plan. Mercury and Gemini in this new moon is great for making change and starting to implement new habits. The Sabian symbol is an old-fashioned well with the purest and coldest water. So that gives a vision of, I feel like this is the water of knowledge. And do you want to take a class and learn something new or socialize more, join a group? I got the picture of people socializing about a water cooler at work. They're swapping stories either about some show they're watching or what's going on in the world. Now, there could be stagnant water, which is like gossiping energy about Sally or Jim in accounting and what they were doing in the office last Thursday. But there also could be a lot of talk about waterways. And part of Saturn, Neptune, and Aries, as I mentioned, could be conflict over water resources. Stay tuned. And journalists and reporters are Gemini archetypes. And a journalist, the Parallax View, the movie is about a journalist who investigates a series of mysterious deaths of people who witnessed a political assassination. And he uncovers this shadowy corporation called the Parallax Corporation, which is recruiting and training assassins. And the film explores themes of government corruption, conspiracy, the manipulation of the truth, and mind control. There's also themes of assassination, cover-up, paranoia, loss of agency, and surveillance state dynamics. So this could be a lot of stuff could be coming up around this. There could also be an investigative report launched about all of these ICE agents, supposedly, who don't have any badges, who are masked, who are grabbing people off the streets, sometimes leaving young children by themselves and taking adults away. So there may be some big news coming out about who is being recruited to do this work. Are these bounty hunters? Are they Proud Boys? Who are they? So these faceless people who are exerting power, there may be some big story about that either by journalists or there could be something about journalists. Each new moon seeds a 27-month story, and the new moon of this cycle is the time to set intentions about what you want to bring into your life around the themes of Gemini, which is about communication, connection, siblings, your local community, school, and pay attention. Actions you set today or tomorrow, where we have a new moon where the sun and the moon meet at 6 Gemini on May 26, 2025. You can put in your calendar for some of these longer term things you want to achieve. February 24th of 2026, will there be a first quarter moon there where the sun is in Pisces and the moon is in Gemini. They'll both be at 5 degrees. Whatever started now, there may be, it's a pivot point or some action that is related to this story because the moon at the same degree is exciting your chart. And if you have any planets or points right around 5 degrees of Gemini, there may be a story in your life. The full moon of this cycle, 9 months after that, will be with the sun in Sagittarius and the moon in Gemini, both at 2 degrees on November 24th, 2026. And the last quarter moon, which wraps up the cycle, will the sun in Virgo, the moon in Gemini, both at 1 degree on August 24th, 2027. This would be a great schedule for if you wanted to write a book or if you started a podcast. These could be dates you use to mark your progress. Think about what changes you want to make. If you are embarking on a new journey, experiencing a major life event, feeling stuck, trying to make a difficult decision, or just looking to make positive changes, astrology can provide life-changing insights. There are several ways to work with me. You can come for a 60 or 90-minute astrology consultation depending on your needs. Engage in longer-term cosmic success coaching where we work together on a 3-month basis to help you overcome blocks, improve your life satisfaction, build better relationships, accomplish your career goals, and understand yourself better using the tool of astrology. Or mystic mentoring if you're an aspiring astrologer and want help with chart analysis techniques. Go to astrologybyceleste.com to check out my offerings. If you have any questions, you can email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com. On Sunday, the word of the day is letdown. We start the week with a Taurus moon, and hopefully things are going well for you. You're having a chill day, you're enjoying good food, you're relaxing, taking things slow. When Mercury enters Gemini at 5:59 p.m. Pacific time, you can start moving fast. Maybe you read something or there's a breaking news report that lets you feel a little let down by someone in power. Mercury takes on the nature of what it's talking to. Yesterday, it was talking to Uranus, so maybe there was huge news yesterday. There's got to have been big news the last couple of days as Saturn moved into the sign of Aries. And yeah, what is the letdown that is going on today? Mercury will sextile Saturn in Aries at 0 degrees. This is a time where there may be an opportunity for a serious conversation. Try not to be too jokey if someone brings up something serious, because then they may be let down by your reaction. So just understand there's shifting energy. It takes a little bit, a day or two, potentially to get used to it. So you may notice your mind's thinking fast or talking quick, or maybe you have trouble relaxing and going to sleep. On Monday, the word of the day is missing. The moon and Uranus will meet at 27 degrees of Taurus, so there could be a little upheaval for a group of people. Last time this happened, there was the power outage in Spain and Portugal. With Mercury now in Gemini, maybe there'll be a story about a root cause. The Gemini moon begins at 10:21 a.m. Pacific time. This could be a time you get up and decide you need a quick little walk or go for a coffee or something like that. Or people are quiet and all of a sudden they start talking as the moon moves from Taurus to Gemini. Taurus is a sign of quiet. Gemini is noisy. And Mercury will sextile Neptune at 1 degree of Aries. So this could be a time where you get a really creative idea. Write it down before you forget it. And right before a new moon, having a moon Uranus, there's something that happens that gets attention because we have the new moon in Gemini at 8:02 a.m. And this could be breaking news of some sort. New moons are times to set intention about what you want to grow throughout this moon cycle and on the longer term. I suggest having maybe 2 to 3 intentions. One, if you can do in a short term, 1 or 2 you can do in a short term, maybe one long-term goal you keep working towards. On Tuesday, the word of the day is expose. Mercury and Gemini will trine Pluto at 3 degrees of Aquarius. So an article about all the details of something that impacts masses of people or some kind of technology. Who knows? Maybe the Trump administration is going to announce something that causes all kinds of upheaval. And this is why we've got so much conversation going on over this last couple of days. First, with Saturn, what kind of new structure, limit, control, or boundary? How can we creatively move past it with Neptune? Or there's discussion about how people are disillusioned. They thought it was all going to be, the only people who were going to have trouble were immigrants. And now they realize they have some problems too. And then trying Pluto. What is the transformation? Or is there news about, all the data that has been collected and what they are doing with it from that Doge people? On Wednesday, the word of the day is duplicity. The Gemini moon squares the node. So the south node is in Virgo and the north node is in Pisces. The north node's an amplifier, the south node's a drain. Someone could be like, how could I ignore all the details right in front of my face, Virgo, and just believe all the pixie dust or BS I was being told? And it could be a group of people because the moon meets Jupiter and they could be standing at 27 degrees of Gemini and they could be standing in the steps of a courthouse. Maybe this is about the Sean Combs trial. Some kind of witness testifies about something that is duplicitous or about how they were lied to. The moon in Cancer begins at 10:32 a.m. Pacific time. You maybe your nerves are frayed with all of this information and you decide you need to take a bath or take a swim or something, drink a cold glass of water. Cancer is a cardinal water sign. There's something being initiated and it could be about self-care or protection. There could be something about securing the house. Maybe decide, I want a new home security system. Or there's information in the collective about protecting the homeland. And the first thing the moon does when it moves into the sign of Cancer, it will square Saturn. So there could be a little bit of feelings of fear or desires for protection. And then Neptune, you find a creative solution. On Thursday, the word of the day is revival. Mercury cazimi happens at 9 Gemini at 9:12 p.m. Pacific time. Cazimis are when a planet meets the sun and there's themes of death and rebirth. The planet is old as it's coming towards the sun. So Mercury's at the end of its cycle. It's haggard. It's tired. It moves through the sun and it burns off all the old stories and gets reborn. So there's this death birth symbolism. There's the symbolism of sitting at the foot of the king and asking for a favor. Maybe we'll see some leader giving a expose to a journalist or being interviewed that gets a lot of attention. It's a really powerful moment, Mercury cazimi, and because Mercury's in its home sign, it's especially powerful, and you could get clarity, insights, or revelations. So at 9:12 p.m. Pacific time, do a little meditation even 10 minutes, or just do some journaling where you free flow, write, and you could come up with some great things. And Cazimi is just about how close the planet is to the sun. So it's within 17 minutes. So it's very tight to the sun. People who have planets Cazimi natally often have special talents related to the nature of the planet. If you have Mercury Cazimi, maybe you're an incredible thinker or speaker. But prepare for aha moments, downloads, or extra read all about it, things to hit the newsstands. And it could be anytime this week. There's so much mercurial energy. Watch out for getting too overstimulated. On Friday, the word of the day is roar. We have a crescent moon at 24 degrees of Cancer at 3:17 a.m. Pacific time. We start to see the light. The moon is square Chiron, and I just thought, like, I was getting baby Jessica imagery where this little girl fell down a well, and it was days and days until they got her out, and she was fine. And it was like people were so excited. So the roar from the crowd could be like if there's some kind of like tragedy that struck and that we're trying to get people from out of something. And this could be when, they're out. If Saturn in Aries was some kind of natural disaster or something. The Leo moon begins at 1:12 p.m. Pacific time. And maybe this is when, everyone's dusted off and there's this celebration of the success we had earlier today in rescuing someone. And Venus in Aries is quincunx the South Node in Virgo. This is really interesting. There could be an expose about a Venusian type figure, which could be a woman. And I'm also getting like a banker. The Leo moon is opposite Pluto. There could be big news about something going on in Israel. Israel has a Leo moon. We'll see what the news is. On Saturday, the word of the day is thunder. I have no idea why it's the word of the day, but it just came right out. It's the word of the day. The sun is semi-square Chiron in Aries. So a Gemini sun, semi-square Chiron. A leader could be talking about how they were done wrong by X, Y, and Z. Maybe the U.S. president is talking about Congress holding him to account for the actions he's taking that are violating the Constitution and the laws of the country. I don't know. One can only hope, but we shall see. So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology and action stories, or let me know how the daily themes are playing out for you. Take care, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.